Hi, once again, it's Doug Morris with CSI. Just a quick FYI, we will be recording this and putting it on our website later today, and I'll show you where to find that. My trusty assistant, Brittany, is out with the flu today. She may join us, but so I'm running solo today. So if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot them over in the GoToMeeting questionnaire area, and I'll do my best to answer those at the end. And thanks again for taking some time to go through iEmail Cloud with us. So let's get going. So CSI, well, let's see, we've been around since 92. Actually, we've been around since 91. We started selling IMAP in 92. We're celebrating our 25th year in business right now. We sort of like to think of ourselves as the leading provider of add-on products to the community. You know, I'm going to go over what some of those products are. They are supported by our support staff. They have a manual. They're updated. They're not consulting ware. We have plenty of consulting ware that we don't have out there. Those are those one-off things that you've done for a given client, and they're just not ready for prime time without a lot of work. But most of our products, I think the fewest number of users we have on any of our products is about 35. So they're real products. Well, way back when, we wrote iMerge, still the most powerful duplicate merge tool for IMAP. After that came Meeting Closer, because people needed to close their events and not lose any data. iEmail Desktop came about somewhere in there. It actually was a quick way to email a whole committee. So we did that and kept adding on to it for various reasons. The next thing we did was Activity Importer Plus and then iImport. And those are the easiest tools out there right now for bringing data into your IMAP database or even updating. You can do a merge purge, you can change your demographics, all those fun things are available today. Somewhere in there, CSI Donate. It was originally called iDonate. We've now renamed it CSI Donate. It's the quickest way to get donations. Freeze, we wrote that because people needed to change gifts after they went in IMAP. They're locked down, and there was just no way to change a gift afterwards, especially something like an installment date or something like that. For those of you in the USA, National Change of Address Processing, we created a product out there because people were losing their members, if you will. They were moving and they'd lose track of them, but also the postage returns and whatnot. Our page filter product is for doing things that Rise and public view were never meant to do, and without losing those changes. You'll see a lot of CSS and JavaScript hacks going on. I call them hacks because you throw them out there and they work great until you upgrade and forget about them. This actually keeps all of your changes in one spot. Probably lost order now. IMAP is our geolocation tool to find all latitude and longitudes. Freight rate importer, because our clients kept saying, help us import freight rates. And then our most recent product, iDocument. We saw a lot of system admins leave over time, and people said, well, we just don't even know what we have. So we wrote a product that'll actually help you document your database. And then while we're here, our newest product is iEmail Cloud. So what's the cool thing about iEmail Cloud? Well, there is no software to install, which is pretty cool. What else? Well, it works on a lot of different things. It works on Outlook Web Access. It works on the Outlook desktop. It works on your mobile device. It works on IMAP, what we know as IMAP 100, 200, and 300. If you are on 300, which most of you probably are on this demo, you do need to be on IMAP 20.2 Q4 2015 or higher. And it's kind of cool because it's licensed by user. So do you need 5 users? Do you need 10? Do you need 100? You buy what you need. It doesn't have to match anything in particular. So let's talk about what some of the features are of it. Well, you search your IMAP database for email addresses. And in order to do that, you can search by things like last name, first name, company, city, state, even country. We have a new concept called groups. This actually came about in IMAP 100 and 200, and they're applying it to 300 now, so we have the access to that. And we're going to talk about what groups are in a minute. And of course, IQAs. So when we look at our search capability in iEmail Cloud, there's a contact search, there's groups, and there's IQAs. Here's what each of the different ones look like. Our contact search, you can see here, our last name, first name, company that I discussed. Here are your various groups, and you can have even more than this. So a committee is considered a group. Maybe everyone who have paid for a certain dues product, they're a group. Let's see, what else is there? An organization can be a group. A relationship can be a group. Even a voluntary contribution can be a group, and of course a chapter, as I mentioned. So a lot of cool things there with groups. And of course IQAs. So if you want to use IQAs to email people, you can do that as well. And once again, this is really a quick email you're going to do from Outlook. IMAP has some incredible capabilities these days to email directly from IMAP. And those are emails that are going to be, Dear Doug, Dear Tom, Dear Jeanette, and customized for them. iEmail Cloud is just like iEmail Desktop. It's really about using Outlook to do an email, be it a one-off or to a group of people. So what are some of the other features of iEmail Cloud? Well, you can actually save the email to IMAP before sending. And those can go as an interaction. We're going to support activities there. And there's our little Save to IMAP button. If you're familiar with iEmail Desktop, you know that you can save and send with one click. We have to play by some new rules today. We've got to play by Microsoft's rules with what we're allowed to do in terms of accessing the cloud stuff, and we have to play by some of IMAP's new rules with their new RESTful API. So things are a little different in the new environment, and so when we're using iEmail Cloud and we need to save something to IMAP, we do it before we send the email, and I'll show you that too. And of course, you can take any received email, any email that you've gotten in, you can go ahead and insert it into Outlook as an interaction or an activity. So I'm in Brandy's email here, and I've got a little iEmail Cloud button that I can click, and when I do that, it finds her in the database, and I can go ahead and say add recent interaction or add email activity. I did mention mobile. If you download the OWA app on your phone, it looks like this, and this is exactly what you're going to see in my browser, and you're going to see in Outlook. So some of the advantages of some of the great things Microsoft has done is they've allowed us to write one application that works both on the web, both in Outlook, and of course on your phone or your iPad as well. So those are some pretty cool things. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at it. Let's see, I think we'll jump right over here. So I'm sitting in my Microsoft Outlook account. I'm going to hit new for an email, and I need to email someone that's in my IMAP database. Got our fancy little iEmail Cloud button right there. And when I hit that, it signs me in, and you saw, just like before, there's my contact search. So I can go out here and say, find everyone with a first name of Morris, per se. Maybe I'm going to go ahead and email Anita, but I'm going to go ahead and carbon copy Carl, so I can jump right over there. So Carl and Anita are going to be emailed here. Maybe I'm going to say, don't forget our board meeting tomorrow. You missed the last 4. Now, I can send that, and no one will ever know I sent it, but I can also just click the Save to IMAP button. This is that cool feature I was telling you about. We'll throw some warnings out there. Hey, heads up, better be done writing your email because this is the actual email that's going to go in. So I'm going to say yes, save. And then you, of course, get a fun little reminder there at the end saying, don't forget to actually send your message. So click OK, got it. And now I can go out there and hit send. to these two individuals. And now I'm done. Well, what else can I do? Here's Brandy. She's only seeing the first two events on the website. Can you let me know that when the annual conference has been scheduled? Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop that into IMAP so we can follow up with her. So I can click that iEmail Cloud button. It finds her in the database. And this is where I can add it as a recent interaction, or I can actually drop it in as an activity, the old way of doing things. So I'll just drop that in as an interaction. All that's great, nice and everything, but what about Outlook? As I said, everything's the exact same. Ignore the emails I just sent that didn't go through. Here's Brandy's same email. I'm using Outlook 2016. As long as I'm in 2016 or any other, or 2013, you'll see here my Office add-ins, iEmail Cloud. I can click on that, and it will automatically start it up, and the exact same interface that I was just looking at. So I can run into my out here, back out to find the Morris people, go ahead and start emailing again. I can do the exact same thing right from here in my actual Outlook client. And this same sort of thing works on your phone as well. So some really powerful stuff there. That's iEmail Cloud. I could also go out to my menu here, back over to my groups. This is one of the original powerful things. I can go out here and say, let's go and email a committee. Maybe I want to email the awards committee, or maybe I want to go ahead. The awards committee is not looking so hot today, so we'll go to our education committee. Better have some people in, otherwise I'm gonna, oh great, no one's in there. So much for updating my committees. But I can go ahead and email a full committee. And then, of course, the last thing is I can use IQAs. So maybe you have an IQA with some prompts that are going to prompt for things like the event that you're going to send to. And I want to go ahead out there and say, everyone that is signed up for my Alamo tour, I need to give them a quick heads up that the Alamo tour has been moved back an hour. So I can do things like that as well. Let's jump right back, because I know your time's valuable here. Let's go back to our demo time, if you will. So I want to talk real briefly about the difference between desktop and cloud, because they are two very different products. Desktop does require Microsoft Outlook running on a PC, a Windows operating system, if you will. It supports all email accounts, as long as you're using Outlook. So I can point it to an Exchange. I can point my Outlook to Exchange. I can point it to Gmail, or I can use Office 365. It only inserts activities at this time, no interactions. But one of the great things about desktop, if you haven't seen it, is it will insert attachments, including the actual email. Before, we just dropped in the wording of the email and any attachments. Now it will put something called an EML file right into IMAP for you, so that anybody in your organization can open up that activity that was sent to someone else, one of your coworkers. They can actually open up the email that was sent to your coworkers and respond. So very powerful on the desktop side. And it needs IMAP 15.13 or higher. Cloud's different, like I said. Cloud requires Exchange 2013 or 16 or Office 365. You got to have one of those three things. It will insert interactions or activities. It works with both Outlook on the web and Outlook 2013 and 16. It will not work with older versions of Outlook. It works with IMAP 100, 200, 300 SaaS for any of you on the phone right now that have your IMAP completely hosted by ASI. It'll work with that. It'll also work if you're self-hosted or using someone else as your hosting, or you have what I think they call a VDS. But you do have to be, if you're doing that, you have to be on Q4 2015 or higher. And just a heads up, the activities are only supported on 300, and we do not support attachments in iEmail Cloud at this time. Pricing's pretty straightforward. It's SaaS pricing. You're going to pay for what you use. It starts at about $12 per user per month, and that's US. We have a light product. in the works. Lite is going to be a product that's going to limit the user to a single group. Remember, a group might be everyone in a chapter, everyone in a committee, everyone in a company. So I'll be able to use iEmail Lite and give it to, say, the head of my chapter, one of my Eastern region chapter, and she will be able to email everyone in her chapter, but only those people. So that's coming as well. And then once you get above 10 users, we start applying some discounts. So I'm going to open it up, see if there's any questions out there. Normally, Brittany's helping me with these right now. Oh, cool. I get a disregard prior question. Just a heads up, no software to install. You do fire up your Outlook, your Office 365. You point it to a URL, and iEmail Cloud magically appears. You do need to go in there as an admin and decide which of your users have access to it. So there's a little work on your side in terms of managing who can get into it and who can do what. In addition, if you are using the Lite version, you would control who had access to what group. Let's see if there's some other questions out here. Desktop versus cloud. Those are two different products. And so they are one is licensed. One is licensed with a purchase and an ongoing software update. And iEmail Cloud is a SaaS model. We expect to have clients using both versions at the same time. So one doesn't necessarily replace the other. Let's see what else we got here. By actual users, there's a good question. Users are anybody that need to log into it. So it does not have to match your IMAP user count. It can be less or it can be more. Those are anybody that is going to be logging in to iEmail Cloud and accessing the product. So it is licensed by actual login. Let's see, my screen is frozen. I hope that's not the case anymore. Someone's messaging. Are you able to choose from a committee or do you just choose the whole committee? Great question. You can choose individuals in the committee or you can choose the entire committee. We just pointed this to a new demo database and my committee was not set up very well. But just like iEmail Desktop, you do not have to choose the entire committee. You can choose individuals or you can choose the entire committee. Let's see what else we've got here. Once again, question, you have the desktop, you want to switch to cloud. It is a separate purchase at this time. If you definitely want to discontinue your desktop and you have some extra years paid on your software update, we'll work with ASI to see if we can do something there. Are we able to see open and click metrics? Once again, this is what you would normally do with Outlook. There are some products out there that will track, they're inexpensive and they track whether your emails have been opened and where they were opened and whatnot. You'll notice that sometimes when you get an email from an individual and it says, do you want to download web content in this email, and you think there's no web content in this email. That's often a little tracking cookie that they've thrown out there. I'm calling it a cookie. It's actually a little URL bouncing back saying someone opened it. But my point is, it's just like Outlook. So unless you have that third-party thing, you cannot track opens or clicks. Unless, of course, you sent the message where you wanted Outlook or Exchange to tell you when they read it. So you can, of course, do that. Can you demo or talk about committee groups? Yeah, so committees are referred to as groups in iEmail Cloud. When I go into iEmail Cloud and I'm going to email someone, I'm going to go here, new. I'm going to go to my Office add-ins, and I'm sorry I'm doing it in Outlook because I'm so used to it. Let's jump over here. So groups, here's where I choose my group type, and I would choose a committee group. And then any of these committees, which I'm very embarrassed are not up to date, but any of these committees, I guess I just have the awards committee. Notice there's the select all or the individual here. but I would be able to email the entire awards committee or multiple committees at once. Back to what I've said before, you're emailing via Outlook. You normally are not going to email to more than 200 people at one time, and they're going to get the exact same email. All of them get the same email, just like you would see if you were to email from your Outlook. Kathy, let me know if that answered that. Let's see. For those of us who don't have interactions, can you provide a description of how it'd be used instead of an activity? That is a really good question. So interactions are the new thing coming in IMAP. Well, they're in IMAP. And when I was talking to Jeff Spring, one of the product owners of ASI, I said, why did you switch from interactions to activities? And he said, well, we did that because, you know, we were taking this activity that had a certain number of fields and trying to make it work for a lot of different things. Interactions are new to IMAP 20. When you send an email from IMAP, it actually now will go in as an interaction and not an activity. And the idea is that when I look at my interactions, I can see all the emails that were sent out. So here's the email that I sent to Brandy along with the subject. And so when I click on that, I see the email. So it is the staff view of email activities, if you will. And we can see here's her email that I've now dropped into IMAP. And you feel free to email ASI and ask them what their plan is to move email activities to interactions for those of on the past ones. Michelle, I think I just answered about 200. I'm sorry, the question is, what's the maximum number of people you might email at once? It's going to be up to your email provider, which of course is going to be Office 365 as well as Exchange. If you jump over here and you type in something like Office 365 email limits, you will find a nice little a bunch of websites that tell you what the actual limits are and your maximum amounts. And I'll pop the screen up here. Wasn't quite ready for it, and we'll just jump right down. Let's see what. Here we go. So those are our limits. Basically, they're almost all the same. You know, here we go. Storage. Wait, a little farther down. Storage. I'm being messaged that one of the other things is you cannot send more than 30 individual emails within 1 minute, but you can send a bunch of people on one actual email. And let's see if we can find it. I'm sure I just went right past it here. So it looks like that's an address book limit. There we go. Nope, that's still not it. I will find this and I will put it out there, but there are some limits you have in terms of how many you can send at one time. There, it should be under message limits. There we go. You have these, there we go. Thank you. Perfect. So 250 multi-parts, 30 embedded messages, 250 attachments. We've always told people to go with about 200 per message would be the max. How hard is it to set up an exchange? It's the exact. You do need to have OWA set up. Your exchange server needs to be configured for OWA, and it is the exact same as Office 365. I will go into stuff that you're never supposed to do in a demo, but it's controlled right here. And you go in here and you go down to Manage Integrations. And you go right over here and you would go to Add a Custom Add-in. We give you a URL, and that will go ahead and automatically add it in to be used. Next question. Wow, a lot of good ones. Desktop has great interface with events and the ability to email by function. Does iEmail Cloud have that capability? That is a very good question. iEmail Cloud does not have that great interface. You will need to set up an IQA to do that. In the last part of my slide deck here, I give you this, csiinc.com/iemailcloud. If you go there and you click our brochure really is a comparison about desktop versus cloud and which each one can do. And you will see that when you get into things like events and whatnot, it's going to tell you you're going to use IQA for that. So you would need to set up an IQA that you would be able to enter your function or whatnot. That is not something in our control. The new API from ASI that makes this all possible does not have the ability to select everyone for a given event the way we're doing it now with desktop. So it is something you do with an IQA today. Is it possible to give the light version to a member, not a staff person? Yes, it is. As long as that person has a login and password in your database, you can give the light version to that person. The light version came about where ASI was selling to a organization with a lot of ministries, and they needed the person that was in each ministry to be able to email their constituents, if you will. So the concept is that minister or whatever could only email those in his flock, if you will. But I don't know if that's all the right terms. Can you go over again how you install on a user Outlook? So that was it. What I just showed you, it's done actually through the browser. You install it by a link, and then they just log in with their username and password that you've assigned. And that's going to be the username and password that is in IMAP. Is there ability to search committees and or IQAs? We have many of both. Yes. Actually, I think that's a very good question. I think that's coming in our next one. The ability to actually search by a committee, because a lot of people do have, so you'll be able to search by group. If that's not in here, let's just see if they've added it in the latest release, because I know that's coming. The ability to search a group, if you will. So no, they haven't added that group yet, the search, but we are going to add the ability to search your committee in case you have a million of them. When sending to a group, are all of those listed in the to field for all there to see? Are all the email addresses visible, or does each person just see the email address? It's just like sending in Outlook. And so if I do need to send to someone and I don't want everyone to see it, I can just go ahead and BCC it, and that will hide the individuals. So it is just like sending an email from Outlook. Anybody who gets that email can see those individuals. Can you show us where you define the groups? No, I cannot, because they're defined by IMAS. IMAS actually controls those groups, so we don't actually define them. Good question, though. And Yumiko, if you want to go ahead and research that, if there's a way to create more, I'd love you for it. Thank you. So do we have to open up a port for the cloud? Another great question. iEmail Cloud uses the new RESTful interface. You do need to turn that API on, and then once it's on, it is available, and you would then go and option one is lock it down to our cloud IP. We're using Microsoft Azure for all of this, or you would either need to have it open for everyone. It is not an API that's easy to get to. You have to know the very specific URL, and you have to have a username and password to get to it. And as for the specific port, I believe it's 443. Are all the instructions for setup of 365 IMAP servers OWA, or do you do that with us when we buy it? It really is as simple as I just showed you. We give you the instructions for enabling the API, and then the instructions for attaching it. Once, by the way, let me just be real clear. Once you've added it to Office 365 or Outlook Web Access, it will automatically appear in Outlook. So you don't do anything there. So really the implementation is much more streamlined than desktop. There's no exe to install or whatnot, but there is a URL they do need to go to. A lot of good questions. Is there a setup cost or just a monthly reoccurring per user when we start? That's a good question. There really is no setup cost. We think you should be able to do all of the setup on your own. If you have a challenge with, say, you're turning on your RESTful API or something like that, our support team is here to help you. If you do need us to get on your servers and whatnot, there might be a setup charge, but there really should be no setup charge. We think this is very easy for users to put on. I got an email here. I'm also supposed to remind you about our cloud dashboard. That's actually where we're going to give you some training as well, and you're going to go and you'll turn on the users that you want to have access to this. And once you get, say you buy 15 users and you add a 16th user, it's going to kind of say, hey, you need to pay more, sorry. So there's that as well in terms of setup, enabling the users. Wow, that was a lot of questions. Holy cow. We are available for more questions if you have them, especially as when Brittany gets back. Try to email sales@csiinc.com because I'm getting emails every day to my personal one. And if you know me as a friend, you know I am terrible at responding to emails. So try to email sales@csiinc.com if you want a fast, prompt, and more importantly, accurate response. That's all we had for today. Thank you very, very much. Like I said, any questions, feel free to reach out. And thanks. Bye.